Topiary Cat, Chapter 10, Secrets of Nefertum Hall. Richard loved looking at the old photographs. He felt he should have lived decades ago when life was simpler. He thought early Victorian times would have suited him better, with all those wonderful inventions to be discovered and fantastically elaborate architecture. He chose to ignore, or didn't know about, the hardships and deprivations of life in those days, unless one was born with money and power. Some of the photographs appeared to be from that period, before the estate fell on hard times. There were a few images obviously from wartime, rows of wounded soldiers seated, with young women standing behind them in smartly pressed nurses' uniforms, and a heavily built, severe-looking matron stood to the side. What really excited Richard, though, were some old photos of the grounds of Nefertum Hall. It was clear that Baba had copied the plans to make the formal beds, but seeing them here showed just how skilled he and his team had been in recreating them. Richard immediately pounced on a photograph of the entrance to Nefertum Hall showing Baba's flint lodge. This was captioned, "The Sphinx Gates." To Richard, however, the most interesting image was one taken in the woodland he had visited yesterday. There was the mound, clearly showing the doorway he had entered with Tolly. It looked so different then, because now it was covered in brambles and topped by sycamore trees. In those days it was surrounded by a cobbled area, with decorative inserts made from slate and terracotta that looked like huge snakes. There was a wide clearing around it, and a brick path leading up to it. The most astonishing thing to Richard was that the earth mound was faced with flint around the entrance, like Baba's extraordinary home. However, it must have been neglected for so long that nature had reclaimed it now. What caught Richard's eye was an inscription above the doorway cut into the wooden arch. He peered closely through his glass and could just discern some of the letters. B-E-H something something D, something H-E-E-Y, something something F-R-A full stop. B-A-S something something T, P-R-O something something C-T, us. This was frustrating. He couldn't make out any complete words at all. Was the first word behind, and the last one product, or project, perhaps? It was a puzzle, all right. He copied the lettering onto a piece of paper, but it made no sense to him at all. He shuffled through the photos again, and stopped at an image of a bronze statue. It was very like the one in the underwater dome, on an identical circular plinth. Yet this creature was seated in the classical regal pose we normally associate with Egyptian cat gods, not marching on all fours. He longed to talk to Baba now. He knew everything, or so it seemed to the boy. Surely he would be able to decipher the carved lettering. He wondered if he knew about the strange building in the woods and the passage leading to the watery home of this magnificent statue. He decided to visit the library after school next day and do some research on his own. Don't miss the next chapter of The Topiary Cat, read by Richard Saunders.